Welcome back, and we're going to see Jason Delucia in action versus Ryushi Nagasawa. Now, Jason Delucia, most of our fans haven't seen a lot of him yet. Explain to us a little bit, what is he all about?
Well, this is sort of another emergence of a UFC veteran finding their way to Pancrase. Now, Delucia started off as a Kung Fu stylist, practicing 5 animal styles Kung Fu, eventually becoming one of the people to accept the Gracie $50,000 challenge and challenging Royce Gracie at their academy in Torrance. He would go on to lose that match and eventually train with the Gracies and then make his way into the Ultimate Fighting Championship, rematching with Gracie again where he got his arm broke, and from there meeting up with Ken Shamrock, joining the Lion's Den and making his way here over to Pancrase, where he would enjoy a very storied career and also develop a very interesting style of grappling, very loose, very dynamic, and very unexpected for a lot of people when he wrestled them.
All right, let's check out Jason Delucia versus Ryushi Nagasawa.
Jason Delucia versus Ryushi Nagasawa.
Jason Delucia is 5-7. That's his Pancrase record. And Josh, Ryushi Nagasawa, having that right arm extended, he's not giving him a high five. That's actually his stance.
Yeah, I think he's trying to draw Jason into something. Jason, being a southpaw, will also happen to switch stances and use a lot of kicks that most of these competitors would not use. Just a very different striking background with Delucia.
And Delucia throwing the leg, but Nagasawa grabs a hold of that leg and takes Delucia down.
Right, and although it's kind of hard to pinpoint Delucia as one style, as calling him a grappler or a striker, he was a very well-rounded individual when it came to Pancrase, but his grappling style was just as unorthodox as his striking style, but it really seemed to work for him in the ring.
Now, Delucia, kind of a strange character. I once read he's into the dark arts and actually tried to curse another fighter by putting his blood on a painting of that guy. Very strange, this Delucia.
Yeah, I suppose so. Maybe him and Aleister Crowley have late-night tea sessions.
And back to the ring, Delucia actually has lost 3 fights in a row coming into this one, but 2 of those fights against Suzuki and Rutten, so those 2 very understandable.
Right, and so far he's really been just owning the mat as far as grappling against Nagasawa here, as he's now going for a side choke attempt.
Nagasawa on the bottom. Delucia has him in the mount. And Nagasawa, he is in the center of the ring, which does leave him somewhat vulnerable should Delucia decide to put a submission hold on.
Yes, I agree. And Delucia here has been very active, tweaking the neck. He had a clock head scissor attempt early on in this match, which is a very powerful technique. Luckily, Nagasawa, for Nagasawa anyways, it was lucky, was able to escape that technique, but he hasn't been able to mount any offense to this point.
And speaking of luck, as we see the ring center say lucky strike, how much does luck factor into a mixed martial arts match?
Well, luck has got to certainly play a role. I mean, sometimes things just happen to just play themselves out right for you, but luck is really mainly what you make of it in the ring. As Delucia locks up a very tight triangle choke.
No luck needed there. Jason Delucia with a triangle choke with the leg. Ryushi Nagasawa taps out. Now, I know Nagasawa was in the boat club in high school. It looked like he was drowning all over the ring right there.
He could never. He didn't seem to be able to get any offense off against a very slick and unorthodox grappler and Delucia. And Delucia just really kept up the pace on Nagasawa and caught him after it got to the point that he just couldn't keep up with Delucia anymore in defending.
And as we said before, Delucia in the outside of the ring, kind of a puzzling character, but inside the ring, there's no doubt he's a very good fighter.
Regardless of how strange his interests may lie outside the ring, as you said, a very dynamic and very capable fighter.
And now we're going to go into Frank Shamrock versus Takafumi Ito. Should be a pretty good matchup. These 2 fighters very good both on the mat and standing on their feet.
Both rather inexperienced coming into this. Ito being one of the recruits into the Pancrase system in Japan, and Shamrock being another one of the people picked up by Bob Shamrock into his school for, I troubled youth, and being
you weren't there though, right?
No,
Josh?
not me. I wasn't there. But apparently, maybe if I was, I would have learned some of the techniques that have made Frank Shamrock so successful as he has.
If you were there, I would have recognized you. All right, let's go straight to the fight.
Takafumi Ito versus Frank Shamrock.
And Takafumi Ito comes into this match 7-1. He's now 35 years old and still active, so if you want to find out what Ito's doing now, he's still fighting.
Nice single leg pickup off of the middle kick by Frank. Frank, nice bridge attempt while using the headlock, hoping to get a reversal out of that.
And Ito, we see him running around the ring trying to get out of that guillotine, but so far not too successful.
Yeah. Frank now giving up his back, bucking off, and getting to his feet. Just being a dynamic and quick learner is Frank Shamrock. This is some of the staples of his fighting style are really evident here, even in his early Pancrase matches.
Now, Frank Shamrock has a huge physical advantage, 25 pounds. How is Ito supposed to make up for
that? Through guts, determination, and technique.
Both fighters exchanging kicks. Shamrock looking probably to move in.
A little bit of a feeling out process between the two of them, both looking to land a good strike. Ito with another single leg takedown on Frank, but Frank staying on top and not content to just to lay on his back for Ito there.
Ito had the side control, being very active. I think he might be locked in another guillotine, Josh.
Yeah, Frank really working that neck on Ito and really keeping head control, which has allowed him to get right back to his feet and now make his attempt at attacking.
And Ito looks like one of the more acrobatic fighters we have here in Pancrase.
Yeah, nice rolling leg lock and now dropping into the double wrist lock, but maybe Frank's just a little too powerful for Ito to finish those techniques off so early in the match.
Shamrock has Ito in the rear mount. And he lets him go. And Shamrock trying to pump himself up, hitting himself in the face. I don't know if I would try that.
Well, if he's not going to do it, Ito will certainly respond in kind.
And Ito, nice move. Strikes high but goes low, and finally a takedown that actually works.
Yeah, nice control point by Ito here. Hooking the arm of Frank Shamrock with his legs as Frank reached through. Now looking for the toe hold was Ito.
And Shamrock now going for the feet of Ito.
Controlling Ito from behind, getting the back position, working the arms, getting the wrist control. And I expect again that Frank's going to go back to securing the back and looking for the choke, as he seems to have found some success with it earlier.
And I think he's going for exactly that right now. What does Ito have to do to avoid that?
Well, he's got to keep continued control of his hands. He can't let that arm come across the neck like he did, and he's in a really dangerous spot right here. And Ito, realizing that, senses his proximity to the ropes. Smart move on Ito's part. So now he's able to continue to fight.
He will be deducted a point, but your goal is to stay in the fight. Ito trying to right palm strike of Frank Shamrock. Don't think it worked. Both fighters still filling each other out a little bit, Josh?
I just think that they've expired quite a bit of energy in that early, very fast pace that they started this match with, and now figuring that it's going to be fairly difficult to simply lock in a submission on one another, looking for a more methodical way of approaching the submission aspect, as Frank again secures the back of Ito, locks in the sleeper choke.
And that is it. Ito cannot hang on. Frank Shamrock wins in the first round, 225 via the sleeper hold. And Ito, great sportsman. That's one thing about Pancrase, Josh. There's always great sportsmanship after the match, no matter who wins.
Yeah, what a great match. I mean, even though there was a size disadvantage on the part of Ito, just a very smooth, slick match between the two of them. Both of them having a lot of great transitions and a lot of submission attempts, but in the end, Frank, still being new at the sport, really could show how his mind was really attuned to fighting. Picked up on the mistakes that Ito was making, went back to those mistakes, and won the match.
And Frank Shamrock definitely improving. Ito was 7-1, and Ito now suffers his second loss of his career. All right, when we come back, Maurice Smith and Manabu Yamada. It's going to be a kickboxing match, and I promise someone's going to get knocked out.